Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Reading Reddit with Amber. I'm Amber,
I'm Brian.
and today we are going to read and discuss some Reddit stories with you. Our first story today is, am I the jerk for asking my fiancé if the colors she selected are age appropriate for her? I am 41, and my fiancé is 40. We are college sweethearts, and I proposed to her near the start of 2019, but I haven't really thought about the wedding plans yet. My younger brother, who's 39, is the polar opposite of me, and he proposed to his girlfriend, a 23-year-old female, after slightly under a year together because he knew that his girlfriend was it for him. My fiancé has been nagging me about moving forward on our engagement, so when my brother asked if she'd be interested in hosting a joint bridal shower type event with my future sister-in-law, my fiancé was excited, but as I said, I have too much going on to set a wedding date, so I consider the party less of a bridal shower and more like a non-traditional engagement celebration, at least on our end. My brother is planning to get married in December of this year, and they want the party to be around October, so I understand that it is in every way a bridal shower for my future sister-in-law. So my fiancé and my future sister-in-law have agreed to have separate sections. I don't presume to know most or much of the intricate details, but I do know that their sections will be decorated in different color themes. But my fiancé was talking to me about our budget, and I saw that a lot of her planned decorations on her side looked very pink. Gasp the horror.
Pink? Oh, that changes everything. Oh, I was starting to build up to this. And I was just like, yeah, no, I just don't know what color could possibly be not age appropriate. But now that he's saying pink, I'm like, yeah. I'm following now. I'm grooving with what you're jiving.
No, you're not. While from what she had kind of sketched out of my future and sister-in-law's side also had some pink, but her primary colors even were mostly white, gold, and dark purple.
Very classy.
I was just looking at this whole setup sideways because my brother's fiance's side was looking more old than my fiance's side. I get that this was technically not my party, but it was still a celebration of all four of us, and there would be guests there, and the optics just seemed off. I didn't want people to go away laughing about perceived age appropriateness, mostly of my fiance's color selections that was all pink and ruffles like she was a bride in her 20s. So I asked her if she really thought the colors were age appropriate, because I know that she's gone to bridal showers that looked like that for her friends, but that was quite a while ago and I haven't seen pink near her for like years. She was very mad at me and said that she always imagined her bridal shower to have a lot of pink because it is still her favorite color and royal purple is my brother's fiance's. She then railed against me, saying that she could not believe I was punishing her for not being a 27 or even 30-something bride. I try to defend myself by saying that, but the reality is that she'll be 41 at the party and my future sister-in-law will be 24. She's told me she's done sharing with me and that I'm embarrassed by colors, and she's embarrassed by her mom saying that I'll never say, let's have kids together, or I do.
Well, I think OP here is just looking out for what's best for her because, he doesn't want her to be embarrassed or people to talk badly about her behind her back about this coloring.
Because pink is a thing that only young girls can like, apparently, says Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's all locked in there. Oh, you have to take this off.
I'm too old for pink now.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're I don't know what the cutoff is, but I'm presuming that it's probably like 18.
18 is the cutoff for pink?
18 is the cutoff for pink. That's when you become legally an adult and you can no longer have pink as your favorite color. Not that pink is your favorite color, it's purple.
No. There's a story about it, and we talk about that on his channel. My favorite color is actually green. But just real quick for you all, if you haven't heard it yet, when I was a kid, my favorite color was green, but I couldn't remember the name of it, so I said my favorite color was purple. And I was too afraid to correct myself for a while. So for years, people just bought me purple stuff thinking it was my favorite color. I just had to bide my time until I thought it was had been long enough that I could change my favorite color.
There's a time limit on when you can change your favorite color. You can only change your favorite color once every 5 years. After that, nope. And you can have a max of 3 changes to your favorite color. Oof, lifetime changes.
I don't know if I've exceeded that. No, actually, maybe not.
So, yeah, I mean, back to the point at hand here. We all know that pink has a cutoff, though, of 18.
Yeah, no. I mean, pink is a color anyone can wear. I don't care what age. I don't care what gender. And anyone who would criticize OP's fiance for using pink in her decorations, they're just not worthwhile to hang out with and celebrate with. This is a day of celebration. If they're gonna sit there nitpicking her pink stuff, then that's a them problem, not a fiance problem.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think that OP in this case, I'm not sure why he's so embarrassed by the color pink, and I don't know why he would think that this was going to be oh, your bride is acting so immature and so bad or something to that effect. And it's just that's no one's going to walk away from this event and be oh, did you see how much pink she had?
Yeah, well, exactly. Right. And I think that what probably is even worse about this is it sounds like OP is the reason why she's not a 20-something bride. They were college sweethearts, so they've been together for a very long time. And it sounds like she's been on the wanting marriage side, and he's been let's put on the brakes until I'm decided, because it takes me 20 years to decide that I want to be with you. And I'm still not decided enough to marry you, just enough to get engaged. So,
well, and people have different expectations for relationships, and this is something they should have worked out a long time ago if he wasn't actually interested in getting married. He should have made that abundantly clear if that was what his goal was.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's lots of relationships out there that can be perfectly legitimate without a marriage aspect of it, and I really think our society puts too much of an emphasis on marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, again, if he's leading her on, that's super bad. Being oh yeah, no, I'll eventually marry you.
Yeah.
We'll do this ceremony in 5 years. Don't worry. And in 5 years be oh yeah, I mean, I'm too busy this year. I know I said 5 years, but what I meant was in 5 more years.
Yeah, when this whole well, you're not in your 20s anymore. It's well, you're probably rubbing salt in an already sore wound.
Yeah.
She probably wanted to be a bride in her 20s,
Yeah, especially if she did want to get married. And it sounds like they have at least semi-solid relationship.
Right, it doesn't sound like they've been on again, off again for those 20 years.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually, pink is a fine color. People of any age can wear it. If you're 90 years old and you want to wear pink at whatever event you're having, go for it. You do you. Brian, you're not allowed.
What? I'm not saying anything.
You're shaking your head.
What?
Anyone can wear pink. I don't care about gender either. Just, if you like pink, wear pink, use pink in your decorations. Stop it. Brian actually legit agrees with me. He's just being a jerk.
I totally agree.
Is Brian being a jerk here?
Let's do our next letter. When I was reading Reddit with my partner, he kept being a jerk.
But yeah, so just as a quick summary, so yeah, pink's your thing, then wear it, use it. There's no age limit on it. But I think there are deeper issues going on with this letter that OP and his fiancée really need to work through. Particularly, it sounds like they have very different timelines, especially because OP, it sounds like his fiancée wants to have kids, and marriage, and OP is very much,
Well, she wants to have kids, and he's been leading her on like this. I mean, that's a whole can of worms right there. Probably one we don't have time to dive into.
Exactly. So there's something much deeper going on here than just the pink thing. That was all I kind of wanted to get at.
Yeah. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Lightheartedly, Very Occasionally, Teasing My 18-year-old Daughter About Her Boyfriend? I thought I was a very progressive mom. I was raised in a very different manner. Very controlling, protective parents who were very concerned about abstinence before marriage. I did not want any of that for my daughter. When she started dating her boyfriend, I was chill about it. She's an only child and I'm a single mom, so we've always been really close. And until just recently, she's never had a boyfriend or really done any typical teenager type things. She generally is a homebody. I feel some natural concern because I don't want her to be hurt. But overall, I've been really accepting and supportive of her relationship. She has a fair curfew, midnight. In fact, once a week, I agree that they can have a date at our house when I go out. They watch movies and whatever. I don't pry. I'm not nosy. However, a couple of times I've made little teasing comments, like once we were shopping and she showed me a nightie, well, lingerie really, and I teased her, "Is that for your boyfriend?" A couple of comments like that. On Friday, they had a date at my place and I went out. When I came home, we were talking and she was wearing a nightie. I was kidding and I asked, "Is that what you wore to your date?" She said no, but she also told me I'm not allowed to ask her those types of questions. I was really surprised and asked why, and she said it's a boundary. Her personal life with her boyfriend is private, and I can't ask those types of questions. I'm just remembering when I was 18, that absolutely wouldn't fly with my parents, and I'm okay with her having boundaries, but I'm a bit hurt because I give her so much freedom, and I myself had to fight tooth and nail to get privacy. I feel like she doesn't know how good she has it with me, lol. But maybe I'm the jerk. Maybe because my comprehension of everything is a bit skewed because I was raised with very controlling parents. Maybe I shouldn't be joking with her at all about her private life with her boyfriend. It's just so confusing because I swear it was just last year, 17, that she still had a couple of times that she slept beside me because she had a nightmare. She still seems like a kid to me. Help give me some outside perspective. All right. Well, I think this sentence right here says a lot.
Yeah. Like, it is good that OP is trying to be more lenient and progressive than her parents, but it's also important to respect that her daughter has set a boundary and she needs to respect it, even if it feels frustrating because when you were a teenager you had even less freedom. Like, your daughter's a human being. She's an adult human being. She has a right to privacy over her relationships.
Well, and the thing is, like, while it might seem like lighthearted teasing to her, she might be very sensitive about this, the whole topic of the boyfriend. Like, she may feel very uncomfortable with a boyfriend and, you know, the implication of, like, them having adult fun time. And that's really what the mom is kind of hinting at. Is she's like, "Oh, are you two doing it?" And she doesn't want to come out and ask it, but she wants to heavily imply it.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like the daughter is probably just like a very much kind of shy person potentially because she hasn't done the typical teenager things.
Mm-hmm.
This is her first boyfriend. Like, that's how I was in high school, and I would have been super uncomfortable with those kind of like teasing things, with those insinuations. And like, so I definitely get where the daughter is coming from on that front.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just can be really uncomfortable to talk about private, intimate things with your parents in general. And like, she's done a great job, it sounds like. The mom, OP here, is, you know, it doesn't seem like she's ruling her daughter with an iron fist or anything like that. And she's trying to give her space and time. But I think, like, as a parent, it's hard to know how to do that sometimes. And like, you know, your daughter doesn't necessarily want a friend. She needs like a mentor, someone to show her the way, someone who can be there just in case things go wrong, or, you know, any number of things, who can be like, "Hey, I'm going to be here, I'm going to support you, but also there are certain things that, you know, rules and stuff like that that you set with children, you know?"
Yeah, and I think it's also very common for kids to not want to talk to their parents about potential adult activities they're doing.
Yeah. And also, it makes the way that OP's talking, it makes the assumption that they are.
Right.
Like
I remember when I had to go to, because I didn't really date in high school, and so like I have to go to like the emergency room one time for a urinary tract infection. They have like just the routine questionnaire is like assumes you're sexually active, and that was always uncomfortable for me because I had to be like, I'm not actually sexually active, and I'm not lying, I'm just not.
Yeah.
So.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's like no one wants to talk about that, and no one wants to be, because that's just a really private part of people's lives. And I think that the mom in this one just needs to give her daughter some more space.
Yeah, and it could feel like pressure too, one way or the other.
Yeah, one way or the other. I mean, certainly. Like, and then the way I read this is, I'm betting that the daughter probably isn't active, and she may be considering it. But if this is her first boyfriend, this may be not something that she wants to jump like into, which I think is perfectly good and healthy.
Yeah,
like at 17, it's pretty young and whatnot. And so she may feel pressured by her mom in that respect, that like, oh yeah, are you doing it yet? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that the first time you'd said a teasing comment was necessarily like a jerk move, because different people's relationship dynamics are different. But when now that your daughter has made it clear that she is not comfortable with this, I think you just gotta let it go. Find other things to talk about other than her adult activities or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Our last story is, am I the jerk for getting mad when my dad insulted me for buying my girlfriend pads? I'm a 17-year-old male, and I was talking to my dad on the phone, and I was talking to him about a new game I saw in Walmart, and briefly mentioned that I went there to get my girlfriend pads. I thought nothing of it and had no problem with it, but he stopped me to ask why I would do that. I got confused, and he told me that it's strange and creepy to other women to see a guy in the feminine hygiene section. I told him that she had asked me to, and that I'm pretty sure plenty of other guys do it too. After that, he said a real man wouldn't do that, and I got pretty frustrated with him. This is what makes me think I may be the jerk. I told him that if he was too weak to go and buy pads, that he has no right to decide who is or isn't a man, and I called him a jerk for saying that to me. I was just trying to be a good boyfriend, but I don't know if it comes across as creepy, and I don't think I should have escalated like that. Am I the jerk?
Well, it's a slippery slope. You start hanging out in the pad aisle, and before you know it, you're leering at people, and then, a little while later, you're sitting outside of girls' locker rooms just waiting and leering at people, and I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. It just turns you into a creep.
Is that what happened to you?
Wow, that's an implication that I'm a creep.
You buy me pads all the time.
Yeah, I know. Just the way you phrased it.
Sorry. 5 hours later.
All right. And on that topic.
But yeah, no, OP, I don't think you were a jerk here. I mean, I do not think weirdly of guys I see in the pad aisle. I assume someone who is in that aisle is either buying products for themselves or for someone they care about. And so I think you're going to find very few people. There will be like an occasional person probably who's weirded out by it, but most people are going to be totally chill with it and may even be like, oh, that's really awesome. He's getting pads for his girlfriend. Like, you go.
Well, and the real question is, like, how much time does one spend in the pad aisle anyways at a grocery store? You generally go in there and grab what you need and get out of there, because there are very few people are just like standing around being like, what pad shall I get today?
Well, some people do get overwhelmed by the options,
yeah.
So it's possible, especially if someone is not familiar with brands or anything like that, like, if you don't know a lot about pads, just looking at this wall of all these different types, and you're like, super absorbent or ultra thin, or which one do I need? Like, there are some people who probably stand there staring at the pads themselves because they're like, I don't even know. But they're probably not staring at you. Like, anyone in any part of a store who just stands there leering at you is creepy.
Oh, oops. I have some apologies to make.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's bad, but I think your comeback to your dad is kind of funny. So I don't think you're really a jerk on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, insults I feel like are always kind of like really questionable territory, but like I don't know, like, this is just like someone who thinks that they're, prides themselves on their manliness and then is like, I'm not manly enough to go buy pads. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's just like, if you're afraid of being seen in the pad aisle, then like maybe that's saying something about your masculinity. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with buying pads for your partner. I think that's a really cool thing. Definitely something that I appreciate people doing for me. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like or letting me know in the comments. I'm currently posting videos on Wednesdays, so we're going to try and keep that up. The semester is very hectic, but so far I've been able to maintain this once a week scheduling, so fingers crossed we can keep going with it.
And then on Thursdays?
And on Thursdays, we're doing this same thing over on Brian's channel, so you can hop on over to his, and it's just like this, except instead of me reading 2 stories and him reading 1, he reads 2 and I read 1. So, same format otherwise. And we switch places. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.